Hello, this is Tristan, your resident tech assistant. Today we'll be talking about scams that can threaten your privacy and online security. First of all, this is not an effort to scare you away from using technology more. The devices we have access to today put the world at our fingertips, which is a good thing. We organize our lives with smartphones and do most of our banking through our computers. But as technology becomes more and more of a necessity, we must all be aware of the people that are out there who look to use it to hurt or steal from others. What I'll try to do here is give you some pointers on how to spot a scam and what to do if you find yourself faced with one. These scams revolve around phishing. Phishing is the fraudulent practice of pretending to be from a reputable company in order to induce someone to give up their personal information, such as passwords, credit card information, or banking information. Phishing is a common way for scammers to get your information in the first place. Most scams start at your computer, but not all. They can be initiated by phone calls, texts, or emails on any device you have. Email addresses are simply easier to access than phone numbers and also easier to spam different types of phishing attempts on. Any information gleaned from phishing could then be used to catch you up in a scam. Almost all scams start with an unsolicited request, sometimes a demand, that you call a phone number or log into a website. That number is most often an 800 number, but not always. The website will usually look very close to an official website that you know, but it won't be exactly right. This request can get you by way of an email, text message, or pop up on your computer, or even in the paper mail. The phishing attempt might come in the shape of a questionnaire about something trivial, such as your favorite restaurants to eat at, but at the end, they ask you for your name, address, phone number, and email. If you fill it out, you're potentially now on a list that can be used for scam attempts in the future. This goes back to an underlying theme of trust. Do not volunteer your information to anyone or anything you didn't initiate the request for. If you didn't ask for what they're trying to give you, you should take steps to make sure it is legitimate. Any scam can be avoided by not calling those numbers or not clicking on those links. Do not ever call a phone number or click a link you don't trust. If you didn't ask for it, you need to question whether or not you can trust it. The emails you may get could look pretty legitimate, but there will be something off about it. Even if the only thing off with it is that you didn't request what they're sending or saying to you. If the number claims to come from a reputable company or institution like Netflix or even the IRS, cross-reference that number with their official websites or official paperwork that you may have received in the past. If you're unsure of how to do that, ask someone you trust to help you. I'll always be happy to help with that. If you remain unsure, then do not call the number or click the link. Should you ever call or get called by one of those numbers, hang up as quickly as possible. If you give them a chance to start talking, the scammer on the other end of the line will most likely begin reading from a script of sorts. It will almost sound official, and they most likely won't want you to talk much at all, as that interrupts their train of thought with the script. They will claim to be an official representative of Microsoft, Apple, Google, or even the IRS or FBI. Who they are pretending to be will depend on the type of scam they're trying to involve you in. All scams have similar goals and certain things in common. They usually start with a pop up, email, or a voicemail claiming something, and they need you to call them back. They will generally try to gain access to your computer by having you download a remote access program where they can connect to your computer and control it and see your screen in real time. Their first stop is usually to change your password to effectively lock you out of it should you restart it or log off at any time. Then they'll coerce you to go to your bank website and have you log in. The cleverer criminals will save your password and login info using a keylogger that tracks what you type. This is where the tactics will change depending on the scam and the people on the other end of the phone. Either way, their goal is to get money from you. They will ask you to go buy certain gift cards and give them the codes. Sometimes they'll ask you to do a money order through Western Union. They may even demand cash from you. They'll rarely want to do it bank to bank transfer, as that opens up their information. The end result, if they're successful, is you losing money, time, and privacy. The worst part is they still have access to your computer and they can return to you as a sort of income. The goal here is to never let it get that far by only talking to people and businesses we trust. Some scammers can be convincing, however. Depending on what they're threatening you with, you may be willing to make that phone call and hear them out. You should never do that, of course. I'll go through some scripts that they use so you'll have an idea of what these criminals sound like. There are many different types of scripts out there, but here are some examples of some common ones. The refund scam. This usually starts with the scammer telling you that a company is going out of business or is no longer providing some kind of service, and you're entitled to a refund for something you probably never paid for in the first place. If you let it run its course and do everything they say, they'll do some simple editing of your bank webpage to pretend to send you too much money. They will then claim that if they don't get their money back, they will lose their job, and the only way they can accept payment is very specific, and they can't just transfer it back, even though they just transferred it to you. The tech support scam. This one will have the scammer connect to your computer and use computer and network jargon to gain your confidence and then distract you with things happening on your screen. Usually, anyone with an above base knowledge of computers will tell you that nothing the scammer is saying makes sense. They will bet on you not knowing enough about computers and tell you that you have a virus on your computer by simply typing, "You have a virus on this computer," in an innocuous window on your screen. From there, they'll tell you they can remove it for a cost and offer some kind of lifetime protection plan for much more money. The Social Security arrest warrant scam. This one is kind of two together. You may encounter these separated, but they usually come in a package. Someone will reach out to you and have you call them back. They will then claim that your Social Security number has been suspended and there is a warrant out for your arrest. They usually claim that someone has been using your identity to launder money or run drugs, or that it's even attached to a car that was at the scene of a murder or some other heinous crime. Then they will say they can remove the warrant if you pay the fine. The family trouble scam. This one is especially awful as it really preys on your willingness or desperation to help out a child or grandchild of yours. Someone will contact you saying that someone in your family is in jail in some state and that you need to pay them somehow to get them out. This one is pretty easily thwarted, however, by making a separate phone call to the person they say is in jail. And of course, they won't be. They're all similar towards the end, where they demand or beg for money, but they vary in terms of how aggressive the scammers are willing to be with you. This is the part I personally find disgusting, as they're stealing by abusing someone's pity or fear. From fake crying to screaming about sending you to prison, the depths to which they'll stoop seem to have no end. I believe we tend to fear things more if we don't understand them. The more you understand about these scams and how and why they work, the less you'll have to fear. The best thing you can do for yourself is only talk about your personal information with those you trust. If you ever find yourself in one of these situations, simply don't engage. Don't click that untrusted link. Don't make that phone call. And if you do make the phone call but realize you're in a situation like I previously described, hang up the phone and block that number. You are the one in control. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully this leaves you more informed and more confident that you know what to do should you ever encounter a scam. And always feel free to call me with any questions about what we talked about. I can be reached at 479 695 8030. If I don't answer, please leave a message and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Thanks again.